Transformation is often imagined as movement, a decision, a breakthrough, a visible change. But real transformation rarely begins with action. It begins with stillness. After control dissolves, after resistance softens, something unfamiliar appears: space. Not the kind of space that demands to be filled, but the kind that invites observation. This is where most people become uncomfortable, because stillness removes distraction, and without distraction, the mind is forced to see itself. Why stillness feels threatening? Stillness exposes patterns that motion conceals. When life is busy, identity stays intact, roles are reinforced, stories remain unquestioned. But in stillness, the noise recedes. And when the noise fades, the question emerges quietly. Who am I without constant doing? For many, this question feels destabilizing. Not because the answer is dangerous, but because the identity was built around motion. Stillness interrupts momentum, and momentum has been mistaken for purpose. The habit of escaping the present. Modern life trains avoidance, not intentional avoidance, habitual avoidance. Moments of silence are filled immediately. Waiting becomes scrolling. Rest becomes stimulation. This is not accidental. The present moment contains unresolved material, unprocessed emotion, unexamined beliefs, old grief. Movement keeps these things at bay. Stillness invites them forward. This is why people often describe stillness as anxiety when it is actually exposure. Transformation is not improvement. The mind assumes transformation means becoming better, more productive, more disciplined, more optimized. But philosophical transformation is different. It is not additive, it is subtractive. It removes false assumptions. It dissolves unnecessary tension. It loosens identities built on fear. Transformation does not create a new self. It reveals what remains when illusion falls away. The space between stimulus and response. When stillness is tolerated, something subtle changes. There's a pause, not forced, not artificial, a natural gap between stimulus and response. This gap is where freedom lives. Before, reaction was automatic, defensive, predictable. Now, awareness intervenes. Choice appears. This is not control returning, it is clarity emerging. Why most people never reach this point? Stillness requires patience, and patience feels unproductive. In a culture that rewards visible output, inner work appears invisible. But invisibility does not equal insignificance. The deepest shifts leave no immediate trace. They change how perception operates, and perception shapes everything else. The beginning of integration. Integration does not announce itself. There is no moment where everything clicks. Instead, life feels slightly different, less urgent, less hostile, less personal. Problems still arise, pain still exists, but the relationship to them changes. You are no longer inside the storm. You are aware of it. This awareness is the first sign of transformation. Once stillness is no longer avoided, a new challenge emerges: remaining. Most people can tolerate silence briefly. Few can stay with it. The mind, conditioned by years of movement and stimulation, quickly looks for an exit, a thought, a memory, a plan, a problem to solve. Anything but presence. This impulse is not failure, it is habit. And habits do not dissolve through force, they dissolve through awareness. the reflex to leave the moment. The moment awareness sharpens, discomfort often follows. Not dramatic discomfort, subtle unease, a feeling that something should be done, a sense that time is being wasted, an urge to move, adjust, correct. This reflex reveals something important. The mind has learned to equate stillness with danger and motion with safety. But this association is learned, not inherent. The body is not in danger. The moment is not collapsing. Only the habit is being challenged. Why the mind distrusts presence. Presence removes narrative. When attention rests fully in the moment, stories lose their grip. There is no past to rehearse, no future to manage, no identity to defend. This feels disorienting. The mind prefers narrative because narrative provides continuity. Continuity provides identity. Identity provides a sense of control. Presence disrupts this chain, and disruption is interpreted as threat. The difference between suppression and staying. Many people misunderstand remaining. They think it requires suppression, suppressing thoughts, suppressing emotion, suppressing discomfort. This only creates tension. Remaining is not suppression. It is allowance. Thoughts may appear, emotions may rise, sensations may fluctuate. Remaining simply means not following them away from the moment. You notice without leaving. This is not passive, it is attentive. The body as anchor. Presence is not sustained by the intellect, it is sustained by the body. The body exists only now. It does not revisit yesterday, it does not anticipate tomorrow. When attention rests in sensation, breath, weight, temperature, the mind gradually settles, not because it is forced to, but because it has nowhere else to go. The body does not argue with reality, it participates in it. It is allowance. What happens when you stay? When staying becomes possible, something shifts. Discomfort peaks and then fades. Not because it was resolved, but because it was allowed. The nervous system learns a new lesson. I can remain present without being overwhelmed. This lesson rewires response patterns. Anxiety loses urgency. Thoughts lose authority. Silence loses threat. What once demanded escape now invites curiosity. The end of constant self-intervention. Control required constant correction. Presence does not. When you remain, you stop interfering with experience. You no longer manage emotion in real time. You allow it to complete its cycle. This reduces internal friction. Energy previously spent on regulation becomes available for clarity. Why this feels unproductive? Remaining produces no visible output, no achievement, no metric, no reward. This is why it is undervalued. But internally, something profound is happening. The mind is learning trust. Not trust in outcomes, but trust in capacity. The capacity to stay, to feel, to witness without collapse. The subtle strength that emerges. This capacity does not feel like power. It feels like steadiness, a groundedness that does not depend on conditions. You begin to notice that you are less reactive, less compelled, less hurried. Not because you were detached from life, but because you were no longer chased by it. Staying as a foundation. Remaining is not the end of transformation. It is the foundation. Without it, insight remains intellectual. With it, insight becomes embodied. The mind no longer just understands acceptance, it experiences it. Insight alone does not transform life. It illuminates, it clarifies, but it does not carry itself into action.
Integration is the moment when understanding begins to shape behavior, quietly, consistently, without force. This is where most philosophical work fails. People understand deeply, yet live unchanged. Not because they are dishonest, but because integration requires time, and time resists impatience.
Why insight often stays theoretical? The mind loves comprehension. Understanding feels complete. It feels like arrival. But understanding is static. Life is not. When insight remains conceptual, it competes with habit, and habit always wins when pressure returns. Integration requires repetition in ordinary moments, not during reflection, but during interruption. The moment of interruption. Integration reveals itself in small fractures, a pause before reacting, a breath before defending, a silence where justification used to live. These moments are not dramatic, they are easy to miss, but they signal something profound. The old pattern did not activate automatically. Awareness arrived first. This is integration in motion. From conscious effort to natural response. At first, presence feels intentional. You remember to slow down. You remember to observe. You remember to stay. This feels effortful. But over time, effort decreases. Not because discipline increases, but because alignment replaces control. The nervous system recalibrates. What once required effort becomes default. Identity reorganizes. Behavior shifts first. Labels fade later. Integration is not perfection. It is congruence. Old patterns may return. This is not regression. It is exposure. Progress is measured by recovery, not avoidance. Eventually, self-surveillance dissolves. Presence becomes background. Life returns to the foreground. Action simplifies. Internal conflict quiets. Life stops feeling like a system to manage and begins to feel like something to participate in. Transformation does not make life easier. It makes it simpler. You are not managing life anymore. You are meeting it. And that meeting, moment by moment, is where freedom quietly resides.